Mike doesn't know him that well, if he said that.
Good morning. My name is RJ Sigurdsson, and as always, it is my honor and privilege to serve as your member of the Legislative Assembly for Highwood. I'd like to thank everyone joining us in person and virtually at the Volker-Steven Highway Maintenance Yard in just outside of Okotoks, Alberta in Aldersyde. With us today are Alberta's Minister of Municipal Affairs, the Honourable Rick McIver, and Alberta's Minister of Infrastructure, the Honourable Prasad Panda. Both Minister McIver and Minister Panda represent constituencies in nearby Calgary, and it's a great pleasure to have them join us here today just outside of Okotoks in Aldersyde on a cool Friday, but it's actually turned out to be absolutely beautiful, for a very important announcement that will create jobs and support provincial infrastructure. I'd also like to recognize a number of representatives from our gracious hosts, Volker-Steven, Fred Desjardins, Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, Mike Festa, VP of Construction, Scott Emerson, VP of Highways, Marcel Reichkins of General Manager, James Wallace, General Manager, Volker-Steven Contracting, Danny Fenton, Contract Manager, CMAs 520, 521, and 514, and Carl Boatkin, Contract Tech Calgary West. I'd also like to thank the Volker-Steven personnel from right here in the Okotoks area for letting us speak to you from their facility, including Cliff Takahashi, the Superintendent for CMAs 520 and 521. Volker-Steven is the highway maintenance contractor for the highway network in southern Alberta with an amazing proven track record. They are responsible for the two-lane equivalent of 8,000 kilometers of highways, over 25% of Alberta's roadways. Volker-Steven is a job creator in our community, and we're very, very happy to be here. They have been here in Highwood for decades. We're so lucky to have the amazing jobs that they create here, hundreds of jobs in the local area. The triple impact of the OPEC oil crisis, COVID-19, and the global pandemic that has followed in its wake have hit Alberta's economy extremely hard. To those watching, you or a loved one may have lost your job or taken a significant pay cut. You may have faced financial or personal hardship. This is a difficult time, to say the very least, but Albertans are extremely resilient, and Alberta's government is here with you every step of the way. Our initial reopening began. Alberta's government introduced the recovery plan to inject needed stimulus into our province. And just a few weeks ago, we saw a budget tabled in the legislature that will protect lives and livelihoods by making critical funding available for provincial healthcare and services and capital funding to start or continue major infrastructure projects. Each of those projects creates needed, good-paying construction jobs, and they create them in every corner of our province. This morning, we will hear from Minister McIver and Minister Panda about some of that critical capital spending and how it will protect lives and support livelihoods. My friends, it is my extreme honor now to introduce Alberta's Minister of Transportation, Rick McIver.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. Thank you, MLA Sigurdsson. It's great to be here in your riding. And thank you to the good folks from Volker-Steven for graciously hosting us today. Fred Desjardins, Marcel Reichkins, Cliff Takahashi, thank you to you and all your team at Volker-Steven for providing a spot for us to have this announcement today. Also happy to have Fred here representing the Alberta Road Builders and Heavy Construction Association today, who are key partners of Alberta Transportation and Alberta's government in maintaining the roads that Albertans depend upon every single day. On February 25th, our government released Budget 2021. Budget 2021 is focused on protecting lives and livelihoods. It supports economic growth and recovery, our healthcare system, and the long-term financial sustainability of Alberta. Albertans rely on roads and bridges to get to work, to see family and friends, to experience the many beautiful places Alberta has to offer, and to enjoy recreation activities all over Alberta. In many ways, roads and bridges drive our economy. Just about everything of value travels at some point on a road or a bridge, probably both. Alberta has a vast provincial highway network that includes more than 64,000 lane kilometers of highways and almost 4,600 bridge structures, overpasses, and culverts. And to keep our economy going, through Budget 2021, we're focusing on upgrading and maintaining Alberta's existing highway network. Alberta Transportation's capital budget spends $7 billion in total over 3 years for the planning, design, and construction of roads and bridges, highway and bridge rehabilitation, water management, and flood mitigation protection. It includes over $2.8 billion in funding for capital grants to municipalities. This funding will be used for important initiatives such as the First Nations Water Tie-In Program, the Strategic Transportation Infrastructure Program, and the upcoming Calgary and Edmonton LRT line expansions. All told, these projects will get Albertans back to work, help promote economic recovery and diversification, and improve safety now and for years to come. Our top priority with Budget 2021 was to get Albertans back to work and to spur economic growth. We'll do that in part by continuing to invest in critical infrastructure projects that Albertans depend upon for their lives and their livelihoods. Safe and reliable infrastructure is a key driver in building a strong and diversified economy. So today, I'm pleased to announce that Budget 2021 spends $3 billion province-wide to fix Alberta's roads, bridges, and public buildings. The capital maintenance and renewal funding will repair and upgrade facilities across Alberta. The $1.5 billion in capital maintenance and renewal from Alberta Transportation alone will create over 6,000 jobs at companies like Volker Steven that we depend upon to keep us moving, and will extend the life of that key infrastructure. By preemptively investing in maintenance, we will dramatically reduce the need for expensive infrastructure repairs in the future. These funds will go towards more than 260 transportation capital maintenance and renewal projects in our province and in the communities in Alberta. We will support continued improvements to roads and bridges as well as other safety work across the province. Provinces such as the Hanging Stone Bridge replacement in Fort McMurray, continued work on the Peace River Bridge, grade widening of 15 kilometers on Highway 61, the Highway 22 Fish Creek Bridge replacement, and climbing lanes at Pritis, which is a top priority for Foothills County. All these important projects, and hundreds more, will improve the condition of our roads and bridges and allow people to safely and efficiently move around Alberta. And folks, there'll be a lot of projects done that we can't list because spring is here, and every year the Mother Nature blesses us with a bunch of surprises in the form of potholes and other damage to the roads that Volker Steven and our other partners across Alberta do an amazing job of catching up with and fixing them. Albertans have been hit with a tough year with the collapse of oil prices, health and financial implications of COVID-19 in rapid succession. So we're not as financially prosperous as Alberta once was. As a result, we're taking a laser-like focus to directing the funds more efficiently. We're focusing first and foremost on maintaining our existing highway network by allocating sufficient funds through our capital maintenance and renewal budget. This approach ensures we prioritize our existing infrastructure while allowing remaining funds to still be available to expand the highway network. Everybody knows that you can build a brand new bridge or a brand new road, but if it's not connected to a viable network, you've wasted your money, which is why capital maintenance and renewal is our first priority. This includes bridge construction, road rehabilitation, major maintenance activities such as asphalt replacement, bridge deck joint replacement, which extends the life of our current infrastructure. Our priority projects are key highways, especially our primary trade corridors that serve our economy, support our industry, and keep Albertans working. We're putting in the necessary work to prolong the life of our highways to ensure Albertans get the best bang for their taxpayers' buck. These projects will provide thousands of jobs for Albertans, continue to keep companies working, and provide the basis for Alberta's recovery plan. Thank you for being here today, and now it's my pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, the Minister of Infrastructure for Alberta, Honourable Prasad Panda.
Thank you, Minister McIver. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank my good friend and colleague, RJ, the local MLA. Happy to be here in his constituency. I work with him closely when he strongly advocates for infrastructure needs of his local residents. And today, I'm happy to join my colleague, Honorable Minister McIver and RJ and all the good folks from Volker Staven. Thank you for hosting us today here. And Alberta is certainly a buzz with capital maintenance and renewal activity. There are many projects already underway with thousands of Albertans at work. Minister McIver has told us about his ministry is working to maintain our roads and bridges. And those roads and bridges are very important for my department to reach to the various infrastructure projects we are rolling out across Alberta. And companies like Volker Staven, thank you for helping us move from one corner of Alberta to other to roll out infrastructure projects. And we understand the importance of capital maintenance and renewal because one of the recommendations from McKinnon panel was to strengthen and extend the life of the provincial infrastructure, because the replacement cost of that infrastructure is too high if we don't maintain it properly. So Alberta Infrastructure is working hard to maintain our government facilities and public buildings. Even during the pandemic, if you observed, in Alberta, we didn't stop construction because while protecting lives, we also wanted to protect the livelihoods of thousands of Albertans. That's what we did last 1 year. And our capital maintenance and renewal projects help to maintain courthouses, provincial buildings, housing, post-secondary institutions, health facilities, schools, and cultural facilities. This is where the government programs and supports are administered and delivered day in and day out. Currently, we have 199 capital maintenance renewal projects worth hundreds of millions of dollars underway. These projects are generating more than 1,800 jobs across Alberta. I want to give you a few examples. In Edmonton, the $28.6 million legislature building stone cladding, window restoration, and north stairs repair project is supporting 160 jobs. In Red Deer in central Alberta, the $23 million Missioner Center North hazardous materials removal and demolition project will support 129 jobs. In Calgary, the $6.3 million Calgary Correctional Center boiler replacement project is supporting 36 jobs. We also have 99 Alberta Recovery Plan CMR projects underway worth $120 million protecting lives and livelihoods across Alberta. And we are leveraging more than 87 million in federal investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, COVID-19 Resilience Stream, funding for provincial capital maintenance and renewal projects. I was pleased to announce the first of these COVID-19 resilience projects for Calgary, Edmonton, and Wetaskiwin late last month. The positive impact from these projects will ripple out from the worksite to benefit local manufacturers, suppliers, and trucking companies. The jobs created by these projects will be primarily in the trades and trades-related industries, but the impact will not be limited to the construction site. The financial benefits will reach the local community. Local businesses should see increased traffic. As the project teams travel to work in the morning, they'll stop for coffee and fuel, as most of you guys do. They will eat at local restaurants for lunch. They will shop at local grocery stores on their way home. And these projects mean that contractors can hire staff instead of laying off workers. These projects mean that more skilled Albertans will be able to work their trade instead of collecting employment insurance. These projects mean more lunch orders at the local sandwich shop instead of empty tables. For every job these projects generate, the lives and livelihoods of many Albertans will be supported. By investing in these capital maintenance and renewal, we are investing in Alberta and Albertans. And I look forward to seeing hard hats and work boots at each of these project sites. There are lots of projects, as I said, being built across Alberta. It's part of our overall $20.7 billion investment in infrastructure in the next 3 years. That's the capital plan, $20.7 billion. It has lots of numbers, like my colleague, Minister McIver said. So in 3 years, we'll be spending just $3 billion on capital maintenance and renewal, plus $1.6 billion on schools and a few $billion on healthcare facilities and municipal grants, and so much is happening. So, and those will create 90,000 good-paying jobs, 50,000 direct jobs and 40,000 indirect jobs. So lots is happening, but we couldn't do without the help from companies like Volker Steven. So I would like to thank you again for all you do. And now it's my turn to invite Fred Desjardins, who is the CEO of Volker Steven.
Thank you, Minister. Good morning and welcome, and thank you very much to Minister McIver and Minister Panda and my MLA, RJ Sigerson, member of the Legislative Assembly for Highwood. And we also would like to extend our deep appreciation to the Honourable Premier Kenny. We want to thank, we appreciate the acknowledgement of just how crucial the contributions are that transportation infrastructure has on the economic recovery of our great province. Quickly, just a couple of housekeepings here. I mean, should have said it before we started, but welcome to our property. Even though I'm the Chief Operating Officer, I have people that run these facilities, and they've done really well through COVID. So we have a few COVID protocols, and you'll notice everyone's socially distanced. If there's an incident or something goes on here, please, we have a muster area right near this front gate, and if you will hear three loud horn honks, one of the guys here will signal there's an issue, and we'll gather over there. So, and then, right after we're done here, if anybody wants a tour, there will be a designated Volker person that would be happy to show you around some of the facilities, and just please listen to the safety precautions. I would say, we've done a heck of a job. I give all the credit to the staff of getting us through this crazy pandemic. And just as this sign says, lives and livelihoods. Both ministers here have spoken about the economic impacts and certainly the budget. And so I talk a little bit about those lives and livelihoods. So today, as mentioned, I'm wearing two hats. The one for Volker Steven as the COO, but also as a past chairman and member of the Alberta Road Builders and Heavy Construction Association. Quick geography, we talk about investment and what things we need to do as industry to prepare for, delivering the services that we do. So on the property we're standing is our highway maintenance facility, and from here, we have a lot of staff that are quickly deployed to be able to take care of all the local highways in this area. We have 34 of these facilities built across Alberta. We have almost 400 employees that are just directly involved in highway maintenance. And so, those guys and ladies are dedicated to making sure that we provide safe roads there. But in addition, there's several hundred others that are working within our construction group. So all told, we have almost 1,300 people that are employed with our company. And what that means to us is there's 1,300 families that look towards us to making sure that we have sustainable work for them. And, we're greatly appreciative of what the government's doing to get us through these tough times. But we're looking forward to them to be able to restore some economic certainty, and that what we really depend upon is the growth in the building, when the residential communities start building, when the commercial developments take off again, and when industrial comes back. So those are things that are very, very important to us, and we look forward to the ministers being able to, and the government be able to deliver that to us. We've got a 40-year proud history here in Alberta, and a lot of my colleagues are joining me here today, and I appreciate that. We take care of operations in both of your major cities. More importantly, though, in some regards, we take care of all the smallest communities. So we have facilities in the tiniest rural Alberta communities like Hilda, Alberta, or Foremost, or Nordegg. So we are scattered across the entire region, and those folks that man those operations for us, I'll quickly talk about the difficulties that they have. So we haven't missed a beat. As we've gone through COVID, COVID became a new part of our vocabulary. And early on, we were getting messaging from Dr. Dina Hinshaw, our public health authorities. We were hearing it from our political leaders telling us, stay home, stay home. And at the same time, we recognized just how essential the workers were that deliver the services that we provide, whether it be highway maintenance operations and plowing snow, or responding to accidents that the RCMP are calling us out in the middle of the night, or installing the very precious and necessary water systems that we feed our communities, and the sewer systems, and building the road network. So I'm very grateful and proud that we put all of the safety protocols, the team put them in place, and fortunately for us, knock on wood, those teams have done a heck of a job of pulling us through this. They did not miss a beat. We did not lay off any workers. They did their jobs, and I'd say this, that those workers didn't have the luxuries of working from their basements and the safety of their home. They didn't do their safety meetings on Zoom. The jobs and the occupations that they fill are ones that need presence here. We need presence to be able to take care of these roads and make them safe for the traveling public, to be able to install those pipes in the city and put those roads in place. So I'm very proud of the work that they've done and accomplished, and they have quietly gone about this work, kind of in the background. Well, we've talked a lot about, the essential workers and the great risks that come to our healthcare workers. Just give a lot of kudos to the people that have been able to pull this off, because, the transports that move our groceries into our communities, the ambulances that race our sick to the hospitals, and the school buses that take our children to our places of learning, and the thousands of truckloads that we move out of this province and into this province every day, the commerce and the backbone of our economy. And this is all made possible by the humble professionals that, they had to leave their home against that constant barrage of messaging. And we should be immeasurably grateful that there is a lot of commitment, resilience, and strength that these people carry on doing their jobs in the face of uncertainty. And, we all call Alberta home, and we are safer and more confident in it in the $70 billion investment that is our highway maintenance network here. I'll quickly shuffle onto my road builder hat. And again, ministers, I bring greetings on behalf of the Alberta Road Builders and Heavy Construction Association and their board of directors. And I want to thank Minister McIver for reestablishing the relationship that has been so dear to between our industry and our provincial government since the inception of this industry and since the inception of the Alberta Road Builders, which was, more than 70 years ago. And, having the ability to be able to pick up the phone and solve problems and get quickly to an area that really makes a difference for the work that we do, and to be able to deliver the services that are provided by our membership is incredibly important. And, I point out that for every dollar invested in infrastructure, it delivers a 20-cent increase in GDP. So it's a very good investment for Alberta. And again, considering that $70 billion highway network, we need to make sure we take care of it. If we let things slide and we're not doing the proper maintenance and proper rehabilitation, it just is not maintenance dollars. It all of a sudden becomes reconstruction dollars, and that's a lot more expensive. Finally, I'd like to say, today's announcements is a testament of the value that our infrastructure brings to us all. And on behalf of Alberta Road Builders and on behalf of Volker Steven and all of my colleagues here, we want to thank you coming out for today. And I would say to both ministers and to MLA Sigurdsson, don't forget to go in and check out the snowplow simulator and see if you can appreciate what those guys do and ladies do every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Desjardins. Thank you, ministers and MLA Sigurdsson. We now have a few minutes for question and answer from the media. Moderator, can you let the first question through?
The first question is from Tom Ross with 660 News. Go ahead, Tom.
For Minister McIver, just wondering if you can give some more details about the Green Line LRT in Calgary. We know there's still a review going on. There's some concerns here in the city about if this review goes on for longer, we may not see construction begin this year. Can you provide any sort of update on this ongoing review of the deal?
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate the question, and I know it's one that matters to Albertans, and particularly those in Calgary. Let me assure you that our folks from Alberta Transportation are technical people, and the technical people from the City of Calgary are working cooperatively together as we speak, and have been for weeks now, to get to a place where we can proceed with the Green Line LRT. I know it's important, as I said, to the citizens, and the issues that we need to sort out are not political issues; they're technical issues. So that's why I say that, to point out that I'm so grateful that the political people from the city and ours have let the issues get sorted out where they need to be sorted out at the technical table, where the expertise resides. And I look forward to coming together with the City of Calgary. I think we've come together, but actually coming to a conclusion where we can proceed with the Green Line. I think that'll be in everybody's best interest. And like other Calgarians and other Albertans, I can't wait for that day. But I can assure you that from both sides of the table, from the city and the province, we're working together cooperatively towards what I believe is a common goal.
Tom, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, is there any sort of timeline, though? Because I know, once again, trying to get these contracts signed is a timeline issue. So, is there some sort of assurance, again, from the government that, this will get done in an immediate fashion so that this will go ahead?
You know what? Media people hate the answer I'm about to give. sooner is better than later. That's the timeline I have. That's the attitude that our people are in the negotiations with the problem solving with. It's not even negotiations; it's problem solving, and we genuinely believe that's the attitude that the city has, is working cooperatively with the attitude that solving the issues sooner rather than later is what's in the best interest of Calgarians and all Albertans, and that's the way we'll continue to work.
Thank you very much. Operator, can you let the next caller through?
Next is Mirna Jucic with Radio Canada. Go ahead, Mirna.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. It would be for Minister McIver, more in your capacity in municipal affairs. The rationale for investing more in infrastructure is that it creates jobs and stimulates the economy in a moment when we need it. Yet, starting next year, the MSI program will shrink majorly. So if you could explain that rationale a bit better, do you think that the dollars spent on infrastructures through the municipalities don't help the economy as much as the dollars spent directly by the province?
No, that's a great question, and I'm grateful for it. Let me say this, that we need to live within our means. We just put a budget on the table with an $18 billion deficit. I think most Albertans and most municipalities would say that means that we need to get our expenses in line with our revenues, and everybody has to be part of that solutions, and municipalities are part of that too. But to your question, let me also say that during the pandemic, we actually, the Alberta government put $500 million in the pockets of Alberta municipalities to invest in infrastructure during COVID. Some of that is not spent yet. That's actually a huge increase, and even with with what you rightly refer to as a reduction in the future capital spending of about 25% that we're furnishing to municipalities, we actually, in this year's budget, if you look at it, we're calling it a 25% reduction, an average of $722 million over the next 3 years, but we're actually allowing municipalities to spend a good portion of that more in the first year, if that actually keeps the economy going for them, keeps their projects going, keeps the capital projects that actually help the economy going now. So that should help in more than one way. It'll allow municipalities to plan ahead. It'll allow municipalities that have projects that they got started both with their core MSI funding and the additional $500 million, if they're not finished yet, to not have to stop and start again. Because what municipalities understand, and we do as a province, is what makes any project more expensive is to get it started. I suppose pave half a road, move your people and equipment away for a few months, and then move them back and continue again. We're hopeful in the way that we've structured the funding availability to municipalities, allowing them to bring some of that funding for the next 2 years forward to this budget year, will avoid those types of unnecessary and extra expensive changes. So between that and the additional $500 million that we've already furnished to municipalities, I would say over the next 3 years, they're fairly much whole with what's gone on average over the 4 years, and yet we are setting the future capital funding at about a rate of about 25% lower, not because we want to, not because we like to, but because the economic realities of Alberta dictate that that's necessary.
Myrna, do you have a follow-up?
Sure. Well, we've heard, at least from Edmonton, that they're thinking because of this of not doing certain projects, of doing less than they were previously thinking of. Do you understand that decision, and what do you have to apply to that?
Well, that just shows that Edmonton's being responsible stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. We all have to live with our means and only spend the money we have available. And frankly, when Edmonton or any other municipality in Alberta complains about less capital dollars from their provincial government, that's an example of them doing their job right. I myself spent 9 years on Calgary City Council, and I can assure you, I and my colleagues never ever went to the provincial government saying, give us less money. That never happened. That won't happen this year, and it won't happen any year in the future. It's always give us more money because we got great things to spend it on, and that's actually true. But the other reality that we all have to face together is that our revenues in Alberta are way down. and we have to live within our means while we grow them. So what's important is to work together, because I don't believe we can ever tax our way to prosperity. I don't believe we can ever actually cut our way to prosperity. What we have to do is work together as a team and grow the economy so that the pie is bigger to pay for the services that Albertans need, want, and deserve. So that's what we're talking about today, is capital maintenance and renewal, to make the infrastructure is there, to have a platform on which to build the economy and create the resources to build schools, hospitals, roads, social services, all the things that Albertans need, want, and deserve. And that's what this is about today. So when Edmonton complains about less infrastructure dollars, I say they're just doing their job well.
Thank you very much. I believe we have time for one more question. Operator, could you let the next caller through?
Question from Sammy Hudas with Post Media. Go ahead, Sammy.
Hi, Minister McIver. The budget a few weeks ago included about $57 million for a new Court of Appeal building in Calgary, but we haven't heard a ton about that plan. Can you tell us, where that would go, why, what this plan includes, what the timeline is for building it, that sort of thing?
Well, fortunately for me and you, Minister Panda's here, and that's part of his ministry, so I will invite him.
Thank you for that important question. So Calgary Court of Appeal building is one of the approved projects. We'll give you more details in the coming weeks. But one thing you need to know why it is required. It's currently we are leasing the court facilities in a private building, and the lease is coming to an end, and they are not going to extend that lease, and it requires purpose-built facility. So because of the security requirements, special security requirements to move people that are under investigation, or those are prisoners coming for bail hearings and all. So it will be built right behind, on the north side of the existing historic old building. But I don't want to steal the thunder from my colleagues who are working on those plans, but in the coming weeks I will give you more details on the project schedule and the scope and the budget, everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Panda. Sammy, do you have a follow-up?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this morning. I'd like to thank the ministers, MLA Sigurdsson, and everyone for Volker Stubbing for hosting us. Have a great day.